I'm ready now. So we are live. What is up, Melissa West, Sparky Bear OG? A lot of comments. I've never seen Sparky G Bear before. Melissa West, Sparky Bear OG. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just warned everybody about people that suddenly pop up in the comment section and start. So, Sparky Bear, you're on notice, brother, or ma'am, or whatever. I've just never seen you before. I could be wrong. I was married before, so it happens. At any rate, Nez Lover has the wrench. Jesse James has the wrench. Angel Bulldog has the wrench. Tom Muir, what's up? Melissa West, I already said that. Jared Ritter, Steve Park, S. Lee, TJ Preps, Armored Up, Mel Dog G, what is up? Florida is checking in the form of Gloria B. Sitting Bull, what is up? Bobby of Joy, what's up? The Lunatic, did I say that right? What's up? Princess Jumet, what is up? Nordic Kitten, Tim. It's amazing how they censor the comment section. I mean, really? What's up? Mike Decker has got the wrench. Roger Cunningham, Dave's Skywatch, Rise Up 48209er. What is up? What's up, people? Okay, so I was driving and I made a video. What's up? Worcester's in the house. Maniac Bear. What's up, brother? Or ma'am, or whatever. And that's strange. The person that I just kind of said something about totally disappeared. Strange. At any rate, just be warned. Be careful. I've noticed that the comment section has got a lot more violent and threatening and accusatory, and there's a new thing that I've never noticed before. But Richie from Boston, why are you always pushing tattoos? Why are you pushing vaping? Why are you pushing? I don't actually push any of those things. I have tattoos. What are you going to do? I vape is what it is. You know, it's a strange little thing. Could it just be me? Maybe, but let's not forget the military did indeed take over the internet. Okay. What is the deal here? Where are the comments? StreamYard, you guys need to step it up. I mean, I paid for this. So why isn't this working? So I have no comments right now. Am I not live? I'm live. I know I am, right? Hadley, Cape Breton. I'm looking well. I'm well. Thank you. How are you? Oh, I'm well. I'm fine. I'm good. Good. And you? There is no comments in StreamYard. I'm going to reboot this. I might lose it. Let's see what happens. Enter. Still going. There's the comments. All right. I don't know if you guys lost me or not, but I'm back. And I'm back. All right. At any rate. So, okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're live. We're live. We're live. 5x5. LOL. Hey, hey, hey. You're live. Brian Stavely. I have got somebody just sent me emails with pictures of VHS covers for the Mandela Effect on oh, come on, man. Forrest Gump. So send me an email and I'll send those over to you. You can use them because they're legit. They show that the Mandela Effect affects a lot of things, but it doesn't affect everything, which is really strange, but it is what it is. All right. So I was driving. I made a video while I was driving, and I decided, you know what? I'll just do a live stream because watching all these children crying and marching and, through New York City and every place else, climate change, it's just such a big steaming pile of bullshit that I get a lot of comments and emails asking, how can I wake other people up? Well, here's something we can do, all right? This might piss them off. It might work. It's the best I came up with. Could be a good idea. Could be the worst idea ever. I don't know. But here's this. Ask people that especially the ones that are like, hey, it's cloudy out. Well, that's because of climate change. Well, it's cloudy out because they're spraying the sky, and you can kind of see it if you simply look up at the sky. But I digress. Ask them something like this. Hey, who owns the Federal Reserve? And if you go to, this is the wrong one. This is really difficult, StreamYard. I don't know why this is so much of a chore. If you go to this website, which is put out by the Federal Reserve, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, ask anybody that you know who owns the Federal Reserve. And chances are they're going to tell you the Treasury Department of the United States of America. Well, they'd be wrong. So then you do a quick Google search and you come up with this, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. And it says the Federal Reserve is not owned by anyone. It just isn't owned by anyone. The Federal Reserve was created in 1913 by the Federal Reserve Act to serve as the nation's central bank. Well, that's one way to say it. The Federal Reserve was started by putting Woodrow Wilson into the presidential office and then forcing him to push through the creature from Jekyll Island, which is what we now call the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve isn't actually owned by no one. Nobody owns the Federal Reserve. It just is. But it isn't part of the Treasury at all. It's a separate entity, and it's owned by people that aren't even Americans. And I'm going to show you how you can prove that. But right off the bat, the question, who owns it? That might put a little wake-up sauce in their protein shake. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to leave links to all of this in the comment section, but use this. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Some people think the Federal Reserve banks are United States government institutions. They are private monopolies which prey upon the people of these United States for the benefit of themselves and their foreign customers, foreign and domestic speculators and swindlers, and rich and predatory moneylenders. The Honorable Louis McFadden, chair of the Housing, Banking, and Currency Committee in 1930, said that. Not me. But it's even worse than that. And every single war, think about Gaddafi getting dragged down the street and then sodomized and murdered, was because he didn't have a central bank. If you look at countries that don't have or didn't have a central bank, those are the countries that ended up as the axis of terror. Rawr, terrorism, give us your guns. Terrorists are everywhere. Yeah. So that's the main one that you could start with, because just about everyone's going to get that wrong. And then even after you show them the correct answer, they're still not going to listen to it. You see what I'm saying? IRS is actually completely and totally illegal. And the IRS, many people from the IRS came forward, and every one of them ended up in the clink. But it's completely and totally illegal, all of it. But yeah, I got 5 right here. I'll do that next time, Sandra Payne. The Federal Reserve is about as federal as Federal Express, and Federal Express just happens to be one of the worst delivery companies you can possibly use. JMO, but I digress. Oh, right. But you ask anybody that, and they're going to roll their eyes and run away. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is for people to use now. So that's what I'm going with. At any rate, let's do another one real quick. Like I said, I could sit here and read you paperwork, but you can read it yourself. I'm giving you the gist. Check this out. Ask people if they know who the main players in the Project for a New American Century were, or if they even know what the Project for a New American Century is. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you right now, and it won't be too surprising. It shouldn't be. Let me make this a little bigger for you somehow, using some sort of internet voodoo or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. It's weird because I've done this a lot, you know what I mean? And it seems like it's getting more and more difficult to use, which makes me think that Google might already be leaning on StreamYard if they don't already own it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Project for a New American Century. Almost all of you should be aware of what this is, but if you don't, it's called Rebuilding America's Defenses, and it was made up by a bunch of neocons. And the funny thing about the main players in this were people like Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, Deputy Secretary of Defense Paul Wolfowitz, Elliot Abrams. You notice anything weird about the names? International Secretary John Bolton, former Chairman of Defense Richard Perle, Vice President Dick Cheney. Their entire thing, long story short, I'm going to tell you what it is. You can look it up and interpret it for yourself. But as I see it, and as most of us see it, this was basically them saying, hey, we got a monster military. We've spent bazillions of dollars. All of our friends and everyone that helped us get elected, including ourselves, all have unbelievable interest in missile companies, tank companies, anything to do with war, Halliburton, Raytheon, so forth and so on. So these guys got together. They drew up an article called the Project for a New American Century, or PNAC. And what they said was, instead of just protecting America at her borders and doing our thing like you're supposed to, like everyone thought this country was, what they wanted to do was start attacking other countries preemptively, because they've all got weapons of mass destruction and they're all doing this, that, and the other thing. They said that it would be a problem, though, and it would be a long transition period, unless, of course, there was a new Pearl Harbor. And then it's so, hey, look, here's somebody who I have no idea who this person is, authentic, but can somebody boot them? Because you're obnoxious. Richie is scarred to speak about veganism. Throw them out, will you? I can't stand shit like that. I'm trying to do something that's actually important, and some jerk off is quacking and spelling incorrectly about veganism. I'm not a vegan, dude. All right. So put that in your rice bowl and smoke it. What a douche. Oh, I can't stand people. Seriously. At any rate, Project for a New American Century, instead of doing what a military should do in protecting our borders, they wanted to start attacking other countries under whatever guise, weapons of mass destruction, terrorism, whatever else they could make up. And they said they would need a new Pearl Harbor. And then magically, 1 year, almost exactly later, 9/11 happens. And strangely, all the guys that were involved in this Project for a New American Century were also the same guys that were literally in the White House. How convenient, you know what I mean? So they got to institute all this while they were in the White House on 9/11. I mean, what is better than that? Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, everybody. I mean, Dick Cheney is sitting in a bunker with another guy. I can't believe I can't think of his name. Secretary of Transportation, Mineta. And Mineta is saying that this guy, an aide keeps coming in and telling Dick Cheney, dude, the plane's 50 miles away from Washington. Dude, the plane's 40 miles away. Does it still stand? Does the order still stand? Mineta was sitting right there in the bunker. And this dude allowed this to occur. He let the missile come in, because I know it was a missile. It wasn't an airplane, but I digress. Donald Rumsfeld, instead of doing his job as the Secretary of Defense, he's outside picking up any incriminating evidence around the Pentagon, because nobody wants to find any pieces of that cruise missile that just hit the building. You know what I'm saying? That was his main goal. But having this guy and this guy writing the Project for a New American Century, and then all of it, everything they need to make this plan go into action occurs. And they're also in the government at the time to make sure that this plan is carried out perfectly. It seems like people should know that, but I guarantee you, if you ask them what part of the government is the Federal Reserve, they're not going to know. If you ask them what the Project for a New American Century is, they're not going to know. But now you can show them. And I mean, seriously, the same think tank that wrote up that we should no longer wait to be attacked, we should start attacking people, are also the guys that are doing the shadiest shit ever on 9/11. Come on. It's right there. Stand by, because I have to stop screen sharing. Then I got to screen share again. This is really lame. At any rate, let me show you this. Ask people. This is a good one. And this one's a little shady already, but I still got the right answer. Ask them who the first director of NASA ever was. And it depends what time of the day, but you'll get T. Keith Glennon. See this guy? This guy was a special effects guy in Hollywood. So obviously he should be in charge of NASA, right? A special effects guy from Hollywood. Clearly he should be in charge of rocket scientists, right? I mean, that just makes sense, right? But that's just what it is. At any rate, if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the actual guy is Werner, Mandela effect, Magnus Maximilian Freiherr von Braun. And if you'll notice, his name is spelled differently here than it is. Oh, no, that's my bad. It's right here. Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun was a Nazi scientist who committed atrocities. He wasn't just some poor scientist that Hitler was forcing to work there and so forth and so on and blah, blah, blah. Why is it that a scientist that belonged willingly to the Nazi Party was one of the first directors of NASA? Well, because of this little wacky thing called Operation Paperclip. Ask people if they even knew that. Why is it that NASA was started and run by the biggest criminals on the planet, according to our history, the Nazis? All these guys, they weren't, you know, it depends because they're changing the Google searches. Do you see what I'm saying? They're changing the Google searches so that things are getting softer. If you look up Operation Paperclip, some of the results come back that the military saved these poor scientists from Germany. They rescued them. That is not the case. That is not the deal. That is not the story. This is the story. Let me see if I can screen share it before it's gone. And it's funny when you look up Operation Paperclip, CIA.gov is right there to help you out. Do yourself a solid. Don't click on that, or do it. It's your call. Whatever. I don't know. Excuse me. You see what I'm saying? CIA.gov, history.com. I found it. I had it open and I can't find it now. So stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Are you kidding me? The search results have changed since I pulled it up for this live stream. That's phenomenal. Blah, 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 blah. Operation Paperclip. Maybe this is the truth. It is. Nice. Sweet. Okay. Operation Paperclip was the code name. Am I screen sharing? I am. Sweet. Where is it? Here we go. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. This is phenomenal. Here we go. Operation Paperclip was the code name under which the U.S. intelligence and military services extricated scientists from Germany. During and after the final stages of World War II, project was originally called Operation Overcast, and it's sometimes known as Paperclip. Now, this right here is history being changed to make it more palatable for the new generation of New World Order citizens that will believe in global warming, that will believe in climate change. They will take their vaccines, they'll drink their genetically modified food, and they'll probably eat meat of humans made in labs, unless, of course, they're vegans. But I don't talk about that because the topic of veganism is just too frightening to me. I'll just stick with Operation Paperclip, the Federal Reserve, Project for a New American Century, and other CIA-involved shit. But veganism, that worries me. It scares me to the bone. Unbelievable. See how pissed off I get? Of particular interest were scientists specializing in aerodynamics and rocketry. So basically, long story short, they took all the best guys. Now, if these guys were really well-versed in rocketry, well, then they were really steeped in the occult because Germany had technology we never saw before. Germany was heavily steeped in the Thule Society. Germany was coated in occult symbolism, the swastika, everything. It's what these guys did. So people that are walking around and NASA's going to take us to Mars, if you even had a crumb of scientific understanding of anything, we can't go to Mars because we can't go to the moon. You know how you know we can't go to the moon? Because we don't go to the moon. We can't go to the moon. There aren't cell phone towers on the moon. You know why? The moon is a plasma. Just like scientists were saying right before they said, we're going to the moon. And 9 months later, we were there, and we were there, and we were there, and we were there. And then we don't go back ever again at all, for whatever reason, ever. And every single picture that comes out of NASA is an artist rendition. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's that. So everybody, ask them who started NASA. Who was the guys running NASA? It was the exact same guys that we were told committed the most unbelievable atrocities against the most innocent of people ever. But I digress. Sandra Payne, you do a lot of good quotes because I'm just popping them up, and every time I turn around, you're right there. Maybe. Will do. Yeah, let me get right on that. Let me do that. It's people are funny, man. It's funny. Let me talk exactly about what you want me to talk about. Let me get right on that. All right, stand by. It is amazing how much more difficult it is to just do anything online anymore. I shouldn't be surprised because we knew it was coming. All right, so I covered that one. The Fed, PNEC, NASA. Stand by, will you? I'm going to get all sorts of shit for this. Yes. Oh, my Lord. Oh, I can't breathe. I'm dying over here. Really, Sal? Is that a real question? Exactly, Barry White. My sound is all stuffed up. Oh, I sound all stuffed up. Anytime I start getting mad when I'm talking, it happens. I don't know what the deal is. So there's that. We'll do Gen R. All right, what's the next one? This one was really, really crazy. All right, let me lay this. Let me lay the foundation real quick. Yep, I'm gonna get right on that. Okay, now imagine this. Okay, I know there's plenty of criminals or considered criminals listening because I'm one of them too. But if you wanted to rob an enormous museum of incredibly fine art, or you wanted to take over a huge bank or something like that, the best way to do it would be from the inside, right? You know what I mean? The best way to do it. You know how the alarm system works. You know where the money's kept. You know how the security guards are, blah, 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 stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's exactly what the government is. It is amazing that nobody ever got in trouble. Nobody cares because they're all in on it. It's political theater. None of them ever go to jail. But there's a thing called continuation of government, COG, and it was only instituted one time in my lifetime, and that was during 9/11. Continuity of government meant no matter what they came up with, because it's all bullshit. Russia's going to kill us, nuclear weapons, blah, 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 blah. Listen to this. Think about this. We're the only country that's ever actually nuked somebody. Atomic bombs, Fat Man, Little Boy. We dropped them on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And yet, to this day, both of those places are thriving communities. Trees, birds, blah, blah, blah. There's no three-headed dogs running around. There's no fish with four eyes like on The Simpsons. But they claim they dropped a nuke. So I don't really believe any of that. I think they firebombed the living stuffing out of the place and told people that's what a nuke does. I think every time they were doing testing at the Trinity site, they were simply and only doing occult rituals that they were calling nuclear testing and trying to blow a hole in the veil. Every time you look at an atomic bomb picture, what do you see? You're literally seeing a giant bubble, like they're trying to burst the veil. 1947, Babylon Working. Face Like the Sun YouTube channel did a video on it called Age of Deceit, and he explains what the mannequin was, all that stuff. I've done videos on this. Jack Parsons, Aleister Crowley, all these guys, they're at the Trinity test site. They set something off, allegedly a slight tear in the veil, something flies in. From that day forward, UFOs and aliens, that's all people are seeing. They're seeing other entities from other dimensions, in my opinion. At any rate, I got off on a little diatribe there. Let's stick to the project here. Continuation of government. So let me see if I can even find this. Here we go. All right, let me read this to you real quick. Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld have been in politics forever, since Dick Nixon. These guys came up with the continuation of government. So no matter what happens, or no matter what they were able to do to the United States, whether it was a terrorist attack, another Pearl Harbor, a nuclear attack, World War III, no matter what, all these scumbags would still be able to get to safety with their own private set of rules, with their own money, and all the Americans would be screwed. They wanted to make sure that government remained no matter whatever happened to the people. COG, continuation of government, was only instituted one time. And to this day, we still don't know if it's still in effect or not. But that was on 9/11. This is going back. This is going back to the 80s and 90s that these two guys were working in the system, shutting things down, they set up 9/11 for a couple of decades. Remember the sheik that got caught trying to blow up the World Trade Center? He put a bomb underneath. That wasn't a failed attempt. That was their first shot at it. They set that bomb off under there. The guy recorded the whole thing. The FBI was completely in on it. He was just a useful idiot. He was just smart enough to record and cover himself. The first bomb that went off in the World Trade Centers, they did that so they would have full and total access to both the towers, so that when they did bring them down, they would know exactly where to paint the thermite, the specially patented thermite that actually uses carbon, that I believe was patented by Komatsu. All these guys wrote the laws that would let them get away with everything on 9/11, and they did. Literally, they write the continuity of government back in the 80s, and then wackily enough, they're in the White House on 9/11, the one time ever that it was needed. And I still think it's in effect. I'm not exactly sure. So stand by. I forget that you can see me the whole time I'm reading. That's weird. You creepy subscribers. At any rate. All right. The Fed, PNAC, NASA, continuity of government. How about this one? Because this one's really near and dear to my heart. And I just don't get it, man. All right, today is the 22nd of September, 2019, okay? And that's what they want us to believe. At any rate, I started my YouTube channel. It was called 27 Tub Guy. What are you going to do? Back in 2010. I think in 2011, I put my first video up. I made it with some cell phone, whatever could take videos back in those days. Or I might even use one of those flip video cameras, I think. The one with the little USB thing that plugs in. At any rate, all I was doing was pointing my camera up and wondering why nobody else was seeing the airplanes filling the skies. And in the videos, I would ponder out loud, it's strange that I'm watching these guys spraying the skies left, right, center, and I'm also researching and learning about a guy named Dr. David Keith, and I'm also learning about these methods that they have where they could spray heavy metal in the atmosphere out of nanoparticulated jet engines, etc. I know I said that wrong, whatever. And then in 2017, everything that I was pondering about, some absolute asshole with a flip phone back in 2011, all of it comes out from Harvard University, which is ironic because they're right across the water. And then people still don't believe it. People are under the impression that this is all there is. This right here, let me show you this because I got a screen share separately because StreamYard sucks, apparently. All right, where is it? You see this? This is all the rage, and they brought the children into it. Let me show you this real quick. This is what people think about climate change. It's the end of the world. Everything's going horribly wrong. The oceans are rising. The temperature, the storms, and there's people dying, and the tornadoes, and the weather's worse, and everything's crazy, and blah, blah, blah. And people are under the impression that scientists are completely and totally down with this. Completely. Look at this. 213,863 supporters. Sign the pledge. Climate action now. Take my guns, take my rights, make me take mandatory vaccines, and that'll stop climate change. Yeah. When in reality, this is what most scientists think. And most of these scientists no longer have a job. But this is still a thing. This is still completely and totally 100% real. I've made videos about this in the past. People think that scientists are completely on board. 31,487 American scientists. That's a lot of people, man. That's like 30,000 people is a lot of people, and 9,000 of them have PhDs. And like I said, I believe the guy that started this was Barack Hussein Obama. Remember that dude? It was his science czar. So when people walk around quacking at you about global warming, like, how dare you global warming and recycle global warming? The big thing in Boston, I don't know if it's happening everywhere, but they got rid of plastic bags. Everyone's using paper bags again because climate change. The earth is warming up or cooling off, but what we need to do is make more paper bags and clear cut as many trees as we can because that's what they're doing. It makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Long story, even longer. Scientists aren't all on board with this. Almost everybody that signed this lost their funding, lost their jobs, or they got sidelined one way or the other. But long story short is these guys had the balls to sign this and put this out. The guy that created the Weather Channel told everybody this was complete and total horse apples. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. Do you see what I'm saying? And what did they do? They villainized him, made him look like an absolute jerk off before he died. And the poor guy is literally the guy that created the Weather Channel. What would he know about weather? There wasn't such thing as a Weather Channel before him. But I digress. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Climate change, the weather changing is a direct correlation to them spraying heavy metals. Why do you think they're using barium, strontium, aluminum, and whatever else? I see a lot of lithium in the sky because I see the skies lighting up red every night, and it isn't because the sun's setting and it's beautiful and blah, blah, blah. They use the metals in the atmosphere and all those things they call Doppler radars all over the earth to move it around. It's just like a giant game. They can use these frequencies and push the metal in the sky and completely spread it and use it as a weapon. I've shown you the patents, the white papers for the military wanting to use the weather as a weapon probably since I was a kid. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's that. Mimi prays, and she's off to pray right now. So let's see her later. At any rate, I guess that's done. So there is that. Let me check the chat real quick. Sorry, I'm looking at the other computer. All right, what's up? Sumi. No worries. Thank you. 4th of July. Yeah, see, Flip Flat is talking about Rest in Peace America. I had that up too, man. But it timed out. I couldn't keep the page up where America's got 2 constitutions, 1871. I believe I did have this up, but for some reason my computer wouldn't hold the website, which is really strange, but it is what it is. At any rate, guys, take this. I will leave everything in the comments pinned so you can use them as you see fit. or don't. Your call. Chef Fabio 76. I see you ate it all. David Mahal. I don't know how to say that. Mike Wilbert. LP Sun Simulator. Dude, I was the first one to break out that patent a long time ago. And I still don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Ace Freely said, don't vote, revolt. Indeed. LP, I see you. Mike Wilbert, Lisa Gunt has the wrench. Jesus Freak Computer Geek. Nice, nice, nice. Lisa Hughes, Caspa CZ, Blake Allen, Moto J81. Big Boy Blue, Buzz Beyond. Saved by Grace, back at you. Yeah, no worries, Dave. I started early, man. I just wanted to get it done while I still had it on my mind, and I still kind of messed it up because screen sharing on StreamYard seems a lot harder than it was not very long ago when we first started using it. So maybe it's me. I don't know. It's hard to tell. At any rate. All right, guys. Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I am out.